Massacre on the beat!
Welcome everyone to the Winlife podcast, where we focus on financial and personal growth, as well as creative expression. Now today I brought a very close friend, a very creative person, a person with a great entrepreneurial spirit who's here to share his thoughts, enlighten the room, and what we always do, add value to the show. So I want to welcome the brother Al Big Freezy Rice to the show, to the Winlife podcast. What's up, bro?
Yeah, yo, man, thank you for having me, man. I really do appreciate you taking the time to have me on the show, fam. Real talk.
Oh, I appreciate you taking time. I know you're super busy. You got a bunch of dope projects going on every day. I see you dropping new content year after year, just being one of the most consistent content creators I've seen. But not only that, constantly improving on the content, whether it comes down to the equipment you use, the quality of the shooting, the lighting, the angles, the presentation, all of that is just, big inspiration. So,
Man, I appreciate. Trust
big
me,
ups.
man. It takes a lot of research, a lot of looking into things, to always want to try to keep something new, right? If you say you're the best at something, yet you're not trying to constantly be learning to improve, then you really can't be the best, right? I mean, things are changing every day. I got my degree in photography and all that last year, my master's degree, and still a year later, I'm still on YouTube looking at guys learning different lighting tricks. And as you see right now, how my lighting is set up, these are all little things that I learned after I got out of school. You know what I mean? So, you got to always be, putting your best foot forward, I guess you can say. Always.
Definitely, definitely. And we talk about that a lot, not being stagnant and constantly finding a way to grow. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And what we've been doing is really breaking that down to a process, to a science, and taking other people account of people who constantly can take thoughts at will and make them into things, is basically that alchemy. So yeah, we're gonna I kind of just want to pick your brain like we like to do, kind of learn who Big Freezy is and
100,
what
100.
went into make you who you are. So
Man, let's get it, man. I'm happy to have this opportunity 100%. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let's dive right in. I know you got some questions ready for me. So, yeah, let's go, man. I'm ready for them.
let me go ahead and give you your intro, like I like to do,
Let's do it.
because I always got to give you a proper introduction. So Al Big Freezy Rice is a visual artist, producer, and content creator. He is a Los Angeles, California native. Big Freezy attended California State University, and he currently serves as a photographer and ambassador for the Raw brand, collaborating with several national and local businesses. Recently, Freezy has created his own show entitled The Cookbook, where he's able to express himself and display his full array of skills. The Winlife podcast welcomes Al Big Freezy Rice to the show.
And I appreciate the introduction. I think the show's over. I think you covered everything in introduction. I don't think we need to say anything else. Thank you for having me. I guess I could press leave, right? Just
Peace, God. there's some in betweens. We'll get into a little subtle
there's some more
nuance.
stuff in between. yeah, everything in there is accurate. I went to Cal State San Bernardino. That's where I got my bachelor's in sociology. And then I furthered my education at Cal State University Fullerton and achieved my MFA in creative photography and multimedia. Is school for everybody? No. But I think everybody needs to find out that school's not for them. And so for me, there was a little bit of a road there where I wasn't in school, just doing music and stuff like that. But I said, you know what, my plan B needs to be solid. So I went back to school and finished all the degrees. And I'm very happy that I did that because the doors started opening after that, like clearly opening.
Were
Sorry, I'm
you
taking a hit.
were they opening a lot because you're networking with different people and like kind of just out there? or was
Well,
it just
so networking is always key, you know, and I do owe a lot of my success and continued success to, you know, the networking that I've been able to build up. However, when you know what you're doing and you have that education behind you, some people look for that. Some companies look for that. You know what I mean? And so to be able to have that in addition to my already creative mind, you know, the regular things that I already do, it just enhances my ability to, you know, get those contracts with bigger companies as I move forward.
right, right? So you basically shifted into a whole new space, into the arena where business gets done, and you're saying academia is linked to that because that's
Yeah, yeah.
that's where the people are at.
There's a lot of good people that I've come across because I did go back to school. And some of those guys are still around, some of them are not. You know what I mean? But the information that I achieved from them, right, the things that I learned from them, are the things that I can take with me and continue to utilize and build upon. You know what I mean? And we have that in music too, right? You know, when you collab with different artists, especially when you guys get a chance to be in the same room at the same time, those songs come out way different than, all right, you know, I already laid my verse, you know, let me send it over to you and then you can lay your verse. You know what I mean? Like the vibe is different. You know what I mean? And so,
Right, there's an energy, a real
yeah,
energy.
100%. And you want that energy, and you can listen to it on different people's tracks. You know what I mean? You know, you can tell if Lil Wayne was there or not because it's just the mix is different, everything is different, and so is their energy. So sometimes you'll have a song, and yeah, it's a good song still, but when you really dive into it, you can tell that the energy wasn't the same between the guys that were collaborating.
Right.
And so that's what you look for, and that's what I look for when I'm doing the work that I do. You know, I look even when I work with you. You know, I don't put on what I want, right? I talk to you first. I'm like, hey, you know, what do you want to do? What type of things do you already like to do? And then let me add a raw bag in it, or let me. You see what I mean? And that makes it so much easier to actually do photos with people, do all these different things with people because now they're doing what they want to do already. You're just adding what you would like from it into what they already want to do.
Wow. I never thought about it like that. And that's like how you can bring the best out of bring the best out of people, whether, it is music or like you said, a photo shoot or just someone's natural like in a natural life situation. So it seems like we're talking much more than just like, you know, um, music or photography or even any lane. We're just talking about humans getting around each other, picking up on vibes, picking up on basically like energy profiles. And seems like that's what you do with your creations when you
Right.
collaborate with people.
Well, that's what business is. You know, business is understanding the particular collaborations that need to happen. I mean, look at some of the biggest companies. You know, you have Taco Bell is a part of Ford or something or GM somehow. You know what I mean? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? I remember when KFC
Right.
and Taco Bell merged and Green Burrito and somebody else merged. I mean, all these companies come
Right.
together, but us on, I guess you could say at the bottom, right? Because we're not billionaires and stuff like that and have these massive companies. But us at the bottom, we figure that we're supposed to be doing this by ourselves all the time. And that's just not the way I see it. You know what I mean? If you do clothing, for example, say you do okay, well I do clothing, and if I do clothing too, 9 times out of 10 is going to be a bad idea for us to come together, right? Because we're going to be competing even though we're together. But when you get those like minds and you go, okay, you do clothing, I do clothing, then let's just do a set of collaborative lines with one another. So now,
Right.
and then on my line, I get a couple of exclusive pieces. On your line, you get a couple of exclusive pieces, and then there's those pieces that we have together. Everybody is winning, but we don't think that way. So what we do, you do clothing, I do clothing, and I try to do better shirts than you. And so no one ever comes together. I mean, this is business. You know what I mean? You got to think about that as a whole. It's like these companies come together. People have to come together. You know what I mean? Tupac didn't make it on his own. He had the Outlaws. You know, he had the help of Shock G, the Underground. You know, same thing with Snoop. He didn't make it by himself. Yeah, he came into that meeting by himself, but he didn't make it by himself. There was the whole dog pound that he had created at the time. That
If you
all these
if you think
energies
about
came together.
I was just gonna bring up the fashion stuff now, the hype beats, like the most expensive pieces are these rare collabs, like the Louis Vuitton Supreme collab going for dumb price just because they came together.
Yep, yep. I mean, that's where it's at. That's the money. You know what I mean? You know, I'm trying to look around me right now to see if I see something that's a collaborative effort in my studio, but I don't currently. But you know, that's what it is, and that's what a lot of people outside of how do you want to say this? You know, outside of music, outside of, you know, your regular business structure. So say, for example, a glass artist. I'm gonna let you see this. They can't see it. But this piece right here, right? This is a glass artist, you know, named Drewby Glass. This is dope. However, Drewby will do a collab with, you know, 16 Glass or whatever, somebody else's name, right? And then they come together, no problem. But for some reason, everywhere else, there's a problem with people coming together. They don't want to share the spotlight. And so for me, I try my best to share that spotlight and let people shine. You know what I mean? And that's how we're going to always, you know, move forward, period.
Do you ever worry about missing out on a bag because of that, or someone taking advantage of you and using
You know,
you?
people take advantage of me all the time, unfortunately. And because I've become a different person, a better person, I've still been able to, you know, move on in spite of those things, in spite of those situations. But my homeboy, Dope is Yola, a lot of people know him in the cannabis industry. He told me a few years back, you know, we were chilling at his house and we were talking about, you know, just different stuff. And, you know, he was telling me how he's had ideas stolen from him, etc. And I was telling him some of my war stories, and he was like, you know, the one thing I want you to realize, though, Freezy, is this. And I was like, what is it? He said, the one thing that they don't have is you. And I was like, and I sat back and I was like, and then before I could even say something, he finished to keep going. He said, they can take your idea, but you know where you wanted to go with your idea. They don't know where you were going to go.
They don't have that vision.
No, they don't have the vision. They just stole what they thought was good at the time. You see what I mean? And so you take that and then you apply that to all these different situations that you get in, and you can start to see.
Does just knowing that make you just enter your like collab situations with a lack of expectation? Like, I'm sure over time you've had to kind of like toughen up or just reframe things when you maybe got used or taken advantage of. I guess I ask that because I think a lot of us who are givers and facilitators and help put people on, eventually we just say, you know, we get hardened up and we say, screw that, like, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I've reached now, right? You know, what it comes down to is this. You know, I follow Dame Dash, I follow Master P. I listen to these guys religiously. They're always talking about business. They're always talking about the things you need to do. One of the biggest things that Dame Dash just said about a week ago, it was probably an old video of his, but he reposted it. He said, you need to sit down and invest in yourself. You need to get your money and invest in yourself and stop working 9 to 5s for other people. He said, if you're going to work for 20 years and then when your children get old enough, they can't come here and work too because you said so, then what was the point? You know what I'm saying? He said, you know, we got to take the time to think about what we really enjoy, what we really like to do, and make that a business. But we got to invest in ourselves. We can't. And I tell this to people all the time too, especially artists. Like, people be like, oh, Freezy, let me get a free beat. And it's like, do you even pay for anything? Like, do you understand? You know, if you want to make it in music, I'm going to tell you, there is no secret. The secret is spend money. If you want to make it in music, you got to spend money. You got to get collaborations with guys, period. If you're not, you know, if you're an artist that you kind of fit that Little Boosie style, then you need to get your bread up and get Little Boosie on the track. You know what I'm saying? If you're the type of guy that had that J. Cole style, then you need to get your money up and try to get J. Cole or somebody like J. Cole that's popping on the track. Period. Right. That's how you can actually have an official album dropping, all that kind of stuff, because you have these guys that have a following that want to hear the music that they just did. So now people are now looking for your album. So when you say, hey, I got an album dropping, now you do, because people are actually looking for it. But when we're doing everything, we always do things on our own. It makes it so much more difficult for you to even say that, because it's like, okay, well, I did this whole album by myself. Who's there to support it? So I look at collaborations as a way to, I want some of your fans too. So I'm still in fans. I'm still in all that shit
Yeah.
too. But I want you to
That's
still
how
the
this
same thing for me.
podcast growing. Like,
Yeah, I want you to still the
Freezy
same
fans
thing
gonna
for
know
me.
about Elwin. Yeah,
100%.
likewise.
You know, this is how it's supposed to go, right? That's the art of collaboration, is that there's going to be a give and take on both sides, and that's how you want it to be.
But we know, but we're hypothesizing that one plus you collabing with me, basically 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Two of us together are better than us separate.
100%, 100%. You know what I mean? And it takes time, honestly, for people to get there. This is not, you know, you wake up tomorrow morning like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna start acting like that. No, this is practice. I remember Jerry Rice, he had said on an interview, he said, be positive. He said, think positive, be positive, positive things happen. Period. Now, I look at that and I said, do you know how hard it is to think positive? Just let's just look at what he's asking. Then, after the thought process of thinking to be positive, you want me to actually be positive. Then, after that, the expectation is positive things will happen. The hardest part is that most don't get past the thinking. They could think about being positive all they want to, but the actual action of being positive, that means that I'm going into a collaboration without thinking, this guy's going to try to take this from me. Or look, I'm going in there with the best of intentions. And that the universe is going to reward that. They're going to bring the right people around. Now, when you go in there with that fickle mindset where, you know, then the universe doesn't know what to give you.
It's like we're talking about scarcity and abundance mindset. One is abundant. I create. I'm blessing everyone. I'm planting seeds here. I give you a verse. This gonna grow later. I'm gonna come back and check on it. But then some people are just like, well, I don't have a bunch of seeds. I don't know how long I could do it. Just thinking that everything is limited and running out and just operating out of fear in all their actions, and they're not even aware of it.
Now watch this. If you look at it from what you just stated, operating on abundance, and we doing this around, and this shit's gonna come back. Here's the bad part about that. It may come back, but not to you. And that's the problem with operating in that particular mindset. And so,
But if you handle your business right, that's why we handle our business.
that's what
get our contracts.
That's what you would expect, right? I mean, you know, in reality, unless we're working with a company, you know, Dr. Dabber or something like that, when you're working with an individual that you can already see that this motherfucker, he may or may not be successful with this shit, right? So it's like, I'm drawing up paperwork. Just think about the time. You know, you have to think about what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we can't continue to enter into situations with only the best of intentions. We have to understand what has to get done. You see what I mean? But having your mindset, understanding that, hey, I'm looking for the best. We're going to do the best. I'm going to be positive. That's more key than anything else. Because what you come in as, especially the person that's starting the collab up, the people that come around that are going to follow your lead.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so they're going to want to come in with the best of intentions. They're going to want to be positive too. And then they're going to give you the positive impact. Versus, and we have this, and it's easy to talk about it in music, terms of music, because there's so many different artists and so many different personalities. But you've been in those situations where you got the best of intentions, but then the person on the other side is being somewhat negative about the idea and what's going on. It's so hard to work in those type of situations. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, those situations can be very like traumatic in a way. Especially like I've done it where I worked with the artist and we were plotting albums together, and we had the album done, and I was all in, and they weren't, and then we had our falling out. It never happened, and like that, I was holding on to that like a girlfriend that dumped me for a couple years until we got cool again, bro.
Yeah, because it's, you gotta watch this. The pain comes from the work that you were willing to put in and the work that you did put in, and it was not reciprocated. That's where the pain came in. For me, I took my break from music on for a reason. I used to work with Bone Thugs and Badass, rest in peace, Brother Lynch, so many of the West Coast greats, you know what I mean? But at that time, the guy that I was working with, this was a hobby for that guy. He just had the money to invest. And so for a couple of years, yeah, I made good money and had some amazing experiences, but none of that music ever got put out. And in reality, it was a total waste of 3 years. You see what I'm saying? None of that music got put out. Sometimes I played on on my Instagram page or on certain posts, but
Have you reframed it at this point to like I was
no.
going through training or?
No, I look at it like this. What I learned from it was I got a chance to work with some of the best engineers in the music business. One of them being Alex Ortiz, Jeff Silverman. And because of that, my engineering went from 0 to 75 quickly.
Right, you got a master in engineering.
Yeah, because I was able to work with those guys. You see what I mean? And so
right.
there's positive, even what they say, there's light even in darkness. But if you don't want to look for it and find it, then you will look at every situation that it was all dark.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's right.
There's a learning tool in every happy mistake, I'll call them, right? Every time you make a mistake, you made a bad decision, etc. There is something there positive for you to be learning from, so you don't make that particular decision again. And if you don't notice that, you go through life repeating those same cycles.
I definitely noticed that until I get the lesson. It just
until you capture the lesson
over and over.
Same shit. And the cold part about it is, for some people, it starts off a quick, like, okay, you didn't make the right decision. Okay, the next turnaround is like maybe a month and a half later. What you don't understand is that time starts to go further apart. So you're stuck in a cycle now that may take another year, 2 years before you can make that decision again. Stop it.
Right.
Sorry, I got cats in here, and they in here wilding out. So
yeah, I had to lock the cats outside, right? Not outside, but out the room. I got.
They normally are locked out of this one, but they were outside.
They were scratching at the door.
No, they were outside.
Oh, okay.
Playing at first, and so I was in here doing this, and they snuck in here.
So you're saying like sometimes like the longer in between, because it's almost like you have to wait for that cycle to come back up,
you
or
wait
like
for
that
cycle
trigger
to come back. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's better to try to learn from it the first time around, because during that first couple of times, that learning cycle is quick. So it may come right back. We can even
take this in terms of the market. The market has cycles. So like in the crypto world, every 3 years there's been a huge boom. And for people who maybe got in, or maybe they sold right before the boom, things like that, they have to learn those lessons. But now they got to wait another 3 years to catch the next cycle.
Or watch this, those intermittent ones, right? There's things that happen intermittently while you're still waiting for your cycle to come back that can push you into the right direction. So it pushes you to make the right decision.
Can you give an example?
So say, for example, if your cycle is, you just keep fucking up over your girlfriend or some shit, right? But there's something that's happening in between the next fuck up that is a trigger that will let you know, hey, something's getting ready to happen where you're gonna have to make a decision. Either you're gonna fuck around or you're not.
Right, like your ex keep texting you at 3 a.m. and you're drunk.
It may be
like,
something. It may be something like that, right? It may, it may be anything. You could be outside at Walmart or something.
But it's whatever for you. You keep doing the same thing and you stuck in that loop.
You stuck in that loop.
You gotta, when you encounter it, until you encounter the loop, the scenario and you break it, you have to do the act of breaking it, or you're still in it. You can't just think
it's
about
Groundhog Day. You live in Groundhog Day, and the reason why they made Groundhog Day is because that is real life. There's cycles that you just keep repeating. The only difference is you keep getting older, and you're repeating the same cycle. And if you didn't pass it when you were 18 and you're 24, still dealing with the same shit.
You ever take shrooms?
Yeah, yeah. And I take
I swear it's so clear.
I take them. I got pills too, so I take them.
Yeah, microdose.
I microdose as
pills.
well.
But if you've taken like maybe like a half A for, I don't know, if you've taken a full dose, I did a couple
I've taken
times.
a full dose.
And you get to that point and you realize like, yo, time doesn't exist, and a lot of my life is this cycle, and you start to really look at it, examine it. I feel like when I'm in that state, or even a deep, deep meditative state, that when I used to do the like 3-hour meditations, I would go in this state where everything would swirl, but I would encounter my higher self and kind of step out my body. But in those states, it was always like time would freeze, and then I could see these cycles that I keep doing. And when I reassimilate back into my body and stuff, it's like, all right, what you gonna do? You're gonna start breaking these. It's like, it kind of prepares you, but you still have to encounter it.
And you still got to do the work. A lot of people sit back like, oh man, God's gonna send me a blessing. Blessings come as you work toward whatever it is that you're going to be doing, and then they come as a signifier. As it's just like a video game. You just passed level 3. Right. Blessing. They give you some extra points, an extra life. Blessing, extra car, blessing. Like
the money and the stuff that we got is just a signifier of the blessing. It ain't really the blessing.
It's not really the blessing, but if you're stuck in, I tell people all the time, success is in your mind. It's in the mind of the beholder. And so if you feel that you're successful because you're doing what you want to do, which is where I'm at, then you are. Other people may say, well, he doesn't have $1 million or $2 million. That's their vision of success, right? I was listening to this was it Silent Guru dude or whatever, and he said that we make up reality for ourselves in our head. And I want you guys to pay attention to this. And what he's saying is that, say for example, the homie, you got one of your boys, and y'all doing a little, some little business together, and you think that, he may be taking the money or whatever. That is a reality that you're forcing on yourself. You're thinking that may not even be happening. But your mind state, your actions, all that, you're going to start treating him or her as they are. And because of that, things may happen to where some of these things may actually happen. But you actually force that reality. It's all in your head. Some things can be just taken care of off a simple conversation.
I grew up doing that, and like being like festering over like maybe thoughts over like friendships or feeling slighted, or just always playing these head games. And I know I get it a lot from my family, and just kind of like we have a lot of mental illness in the family, and I dealt with like bad panics, and I would literally think of every outcome. I would think of a scenario and try to think of every outcome when I was like younger in high school. For some reason, I thought, oh, if I think of every scenario, I'm prepared for everything. Little did I know that I was creating like a psychosis and a rumination in my head. And it basically led me to have all these negative thoughts and fears. And I ended up getting really sick and like having to go in and out the hospital, couldn't eat because I was manifesting. If I didn't stop, I probably would have manifested cancer. But I say that to say, yeah, that's part of my life, but also this is why I wanted to take this. From that, I started to learn that, oh shit, my thoughts are controlling this. Like, I'm controlling this. I'm making it like this. And I never knew. I think a lot of us who play that victim role, we don't take ownership of our life, and we think it's that we're not in control of it. And yeah, we may not be able to control our environments completely, but we control our thoughts and our manifestation process, and we control a lot. And just speaking to what you were saying, I think if instead of thinking about, oh, my homie may have stole from me and all of these negative thoughts or whatever, And I'm not saying just be like, oh, a complete pushover and just like, oh, he's not stealing from me. Maybe he is. But if you come into these situations, like you said, with a positive mindset, with an abundance mindset, but of course we have to have that reality and that street smarts that, that make sure you cover yourself aspect. But
So
yeah,
you got
just
to remember,
being
they say
positive.
forgive and forget, and that's wrong. Forgive, but the reason why you don't want to forget is because you have to be able to recognize the signs. Period. If you forget, you won't recognize the signs when something negative is getting ready to happen. You see what I mean? So when you were just talking about, you know, looking through every situation, so part of what happened there to you as well is there was a false sense of reality being created because you figured if I do this, everything is going to work. This will take it away. And then when it doesn't, now it's a crash, right? You're looking at it like, oh, what did I do wrong? It should have came this way. It should have. You created something that an expectation. Again, your mind. You controlled your own reality to the point to where when other people were in reaction to that said reality, their reactions you really couldn't compute for, right? That's artificial
Right.
intelligence. You can't compute for what I'm getting ready to do back to you. You think you may know, but you have no clue. I may go all the way off the wall, and that's probably what happens all the time because again, we're basing in that particular moment our idea of what we think somebody else is going to do based off of what we think someone else can do. I mean, follow that sentence. If somebody say, "Oh, but L,
Say that one more time.
watch this. L, you ain't gonna ever be able to get $1 million. All I'm doing is putting on you what I can't do, right?
Yeah.
And it's on you if you want to accept that, right? How am I to tell you what you can't do? Elvin, you can't go in no gym and hit no 250 pounds on the bench. How am I supposed to be able to tell you
Yeah.
what you can and can't accomplish? Now, you may be like, you know what? I went in there and I did 175, but I can get to 250. And that's the work. That's the work.
Right.
But at the same time, for someone to tell you what you can and can't do, and you believe it, and we believe it every day. We believe it every day, and that's the issue. There's some people out there that really should be in music. There's some people out there that really should be designers. There's some of, and guess what? A lot of those individuals don't have the support system around them.
Yeah.
The ones that
Yeah.
the ones that make it have an amazing support system, and these are not the niggas we should be listening to. And that's just in that arena. You know what I'm saying? So, you think about these things, you apply these things to different aspects of life, you start to see again the patterns. You start to see how you can control what you can control. And then you just kind of let it go from there.
Right.
You can,
There's a learning curve to understanding how reality works
Mm-hmm.
and the different subtle energies, the different principles and laws of this realm, whatever. I mean, it could be different in other realms, and I think a lot of the ancient teachings do talk about this. Like, and I'll mention this book, the Kabbalah, not the Kabbalah, but the Kabbalah by Thoth, call it Hermes, different names. But anyway, there's a lot of controversy behind the work and if it was meant to deceive us, etc. But a lot of religions are built on it. A lot of the self-help, the secret manifestation, it kind of will go back to this, which is super, BC. But anyway, it has the 7 hermetic principles, and they're just different principles, like the principle of rhythm, the principle of correspondence, different principles that kind of let you understand reality and how reality comes from the mind, but how it works. Like the principle of rhythm just says there's going to be ups and downs. So if you're going, like for instance, if you're going through depression, just what you want to do is counter that with the higher principle, or just know it will pass and just wait for that rhythm to pick up. So you start to learn how these things work. Or like the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, and you start to see connections within everything, within the universe, within yourself. But I guess where I'm going with that is, it's like when we when we, out the womb, jump off the porch, we not really equipped with a lot of this knowledge, I guess, unless you were some monk in a monastery and you had ancient teachers. But in America, like in inner city, wherever you grow up, you're not equipped with these tools, these even things like meditation and yoga or just eating right. I never knew about, but a lot of that can contribute to like my mental clarity, my ability to just analyze my thoughts so I can be less triggered and more reactive,
100%. 100%. It's life. You know what I'm saying? And again, but they say it does have up and downs. You just have to remember not to go down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? And it's so hard to tell somebody when they're in the middle of the storm that the storm is going to pass. I mean, it's going to pass. Every single one has. Hurricane Katrina's been gone. Yeah, some of the damage is still there. But guess what? What they built after the damage is better than what was there before, right? We're not talking about the displacement of people. I want you to look at this as the figurative aspect. When you go through a storm and the storm passed, everything that you went through, it's like a workout. You got built stronger and stronger and stronger. So after that particular storm, you are now a better person than you were before. Now, again, if you did not learn your lesson, that storm's coming right back. And it's the same exact storm. And until you make the right decisions through that storm, you're going to be seeing that same storm come back.
Why do you think it's designed like that? Or do you even try to?
I think it's designed like that because I feel, it's, just look at video games, right? Everything is supposed to be for you to be another part of enlightenment, right? So if you look back, every time you pass a new level, it was because you learned how to do something different, new, that you didn't know you had to know before. I tell people all the time, you don't know, motherfucker tell you that he know everything. You don't know what you don't know until you need to know it. Period.
Yep.
Period. You don't know what you don't know until you need to know it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what
So it's about growth. It sounds like you're saying
it's always about
like
growth.
It's part of how you grow.
Growth. It's always about growth. It's either going to be mental, it may be physical, it may be emotional, it may be spiritual, whatever it is. These cycles are for that. They're not to continually pound you. But if you continually look at it as it's pounding, again, your mind state, back to what Jerry Rice said, think positive, be positive, positive things happen. If you think positive, be negative. You see what I'm saying?
It don't line up.
It don't line up. It don't line up. Positive, positive equals positive. Negative, negative equals negative.
And a lot of the stuff you perceive as negative probably ain't even that bad. And you just
But you build it up. You build it up.
Yeah.
We build it up, not you, right? Not you personally, right?
Well, I've done that.
Yeah, we build it up.
I have a lot of antidotes, that I could tell for my life because that's part of why I'm doing this podcast because I've been evolving and I've been learning from a bunch of people. But for me, when I was younger, I would always dread going to work, and when the weekend came, I was just so happy the weekend came. But I spent all weekend dwelling about Monday working. So by the time I stopped worrying about Monday working, it was already time for Monday, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday didn't damn near pass me up. So today, I flip it. I just look forward to days I'm taking off that I choose, and I build them up like they're gonna be amazing, and it's only that moment. But I had to flip it. I had to shift the frame.
People don't like Monday. I don't really give a shit about Monday because I don't have a traditional 9-to-5 job. So Monday the days merge for me. However, one of the things that we all can do to make a positive impact on those type of moments is to find positive things to associate with it. So, say for example, if you don't like waking up on a Monday, but guess what? You enjoy going to go get you a coffee or, to the local donut shop or something. Make that your positive experience for that day for you to be able to start off in the right mindset. You know what I mean? But when you start off the mindset like, oh man, it's Monday, everything that you think can happen is going to start happening. Oh man, I don't want to be late for work. Again, the universe don't know what to give you. So if you keep on saying like, oh, I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late, the universe thinks that you want to be late
They
because
just
that's
heard
what you're
be
putting
late.
out there. You see what I mean?
Right.
So, oh man, I hope I don't get a flat tire. Pop, pop, go to weasel. You see what I mean? You know, you start thinking about, oh man, okay, I'm gonna be on time. Next thing you know, not only are you gonna be on time, you'll be there earlier before the boss, and these niggas may have donuts and coffee waiting for you. So, you know, sometimes you have to think about everything that you're doing, and then just let it go.
So basically, we're gonna be programmed one way or another, whether we program ourselves or someone programs us. But basically, we have this relationship with our subconscious, and we're learning how to communicate with it, right? Like Jerry Rice, his formula: think positive, be positive, positive things happen. That's reinforcing for his self-conscious, for his subconscious, right? So yeah, that I think like what we're doing more and more is just uncovering different ways that we can how the human body works, but how like the spirit and the metaphysical world around us work, and we basically glitching it to get the results we want at out of our manifestations.
And, you know, and this is random as hell, but how dare you wear that Chicago bullshit knowing good and well they just beat my Lakers, man? How you gonna do that to me, man?
I'm from Chicago.
Man, how you gonna do me like that, man? Like in my face too. You like, hey y'all.
You see,
He
you see, we got on the
now
wall.
he
We
showed
got
me
the
the
Chicago
posters and
skyline.
everything. Hey, not cool. I mean, look, the Bulls
It's
came
early
through.
in the season.
Look, the Bulls came through, and man, they laid it down. It is very early in the season, and it was a cool little segue, real quick, I guess, to lighten up the conversation somewhat. Laker fans out there, stop panicking. I mean, look, these guys have never played with each other, man. I mean, you're talking about guys of this caliber have never been on the same team at the same time, other than one All-Star game, and even then, all the rule books are tossed out. So there was no offense, there is no defense. So there's a level of accountability that's getting ready to start having to happen from all of these guys that are on this team. You know what I mean? But you know, the work has to be done. The work has to get done. You know what I mean? But for people to think just because Westbrook is Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony, and just because of their who they were individually somewhere else, does not mean that transfers to them being an unstoppable force here on the Lakers until they understand how they need to come together to do that.
Do you think they will?
I think they will, but I think it's not going to come on the offensive end. I think it's going to come on the defensive end of the ball, because that's where the problem is starting to become more evident. Lakers are not playing good defense, and so because of that, teams are running the score up. It's
So
very
you're
simple.
from LA, so you're a big lifetime Lakers fan.
Lifetime Lakers fan. Lifetime Lakers fan. Even the days of Jordan when he was winning championships, I was like, man, it's Magic Johnson on mine. What you talking about?
Are you old enough to have witnessed the Showtime Lakers?
The very end of the Showtime Lakers.
Okay.
Very end of the
So when
Showtime
Magic
Lakers.
came in and got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was born in '82, so they was already doing their thing already. You know what I'm saying? I think they won one in '88, '89, and at that time I don't remember it. So I do remember we got
Who's
the
your
commemorative
all-time
glove.
favorite Laker?
All-time favorite Laker? Oh, it's hard because I grew up with Magic Johnson. I grew up putting my game behind Magic, passing the ball and stuff like that. And then,
Just like you do with your collaborations, huh?
right. But then came Kobe, and then Kobe brought a different mindset to me personally that I started to buy into. You know, they call it Mamba mentality.
Mamba mentality.
But in reality, what it is this: sometimes everybody is not going to be able to help you win, but I may have to just do it for myself. And so that's why he put up 81. That's why he put up 63. That's why he put up 72, 71, or whatever it was. You know, and to me, transferring that to everyday life means, guess what? Sometimes I can't depend on the collaboration to go good. I just got to go do some shit good real quick. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to knock the ball out the park. You can't just get somebody on base. Sometimes you just got to go out there and hit the home run. Period.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever that means to you.
Whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you, these are all metaphors, but it's just the easiest way to make it so that way you can understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what we do. Because we're basically trying to articulate the non-physical, right? That's whole system we're doing. So we do a lot of that.
So just a lot of work. You know, again, if you want to be a champion, you got to understand what it takes to be one. And what they have is a give and take problem. There needs to be equal give and take for any team to win. You know what I'm saying? And especially right now for the Lakers. And the problem is, if it wasn't the Lakers, this wouldn't be an issue. But it's because it's the Lakers. It's because it's their prime time every night. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you have to understand that too, right? So let's metaphor that for reality. You know, when you're the face, when you're the one in the spotlight every single day, that means every mistake you make is that much larger. You feel me? Everybody want to be in the front. Oh, I want to be the manager. I want to be. Well, go ahead, be the manager over there. Understand, every loss, every this, every that, they're going to come and look at you and see what you weren't doing and how this is the reason why. Because you didn't do this or you didn't do that. And you have to understand that. There's what they say with much that's given, as much as expected. So if you're not willing to do all
I think
that
another
extra shit,
lesson
then don't do
is
it.
like, you look who you like. Whoever you associate with is going to reflect on you, good or bad. Like when I started my record label out here back in 16, a lot of people were just like, they had beefs with people that were on my label, and then they start not talking to me, or they start coming at me sideways, or like, you sure you want to do this? Or think of LeBron with the Lakers, that then he gets Westbrook, and they're like talking all this shit, you know, and it's reflecting on LeBron. And they're like, oh, it's LeBron's choice, he's the leader, and we honestly don't know the behind the scenes. We can assume, but yeah, just kind of what you're saying.
You
It's
know,
the same thing for that.
It's one of those things again. It just goes back to, you know, a lot of people put time in to things they don't need to be putting time into. You know what I'm saying? You know, the homie was like, yeah, man, you know, we won the other night, you know, the 49ers, right? And I was like, yeah, the 49ers won. The guy wasn't out there playing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you said they lost when we lost. You see what I'm saying? Right?
I used to be like that with my New England Patriots and White Sox. Like, those were my teams, and I just, if they lost on Sunday,
See,
it
they
was
lost.
a terrible Monday.
They
If
lost too.
If
It's
we
not-
won on Monday,
we won.
it was a great Monday.
So we
if
won,
they
but
lost
they
on
lost.
Sunday,
and that's the part that I took out of us being a sports fan, right? I took
Right.
the we and they out, and I said, you know, hey, I don't play for them. The team won, the team lost. From what I saw, this is what happened, and this is why they lost. Period.
Yeah.
I'm a very good Laker fan, but diehard, very 49ers, Dodgers, all that. But at the same time, I'm very realistic. You know,
And we know it's all marketing, and you know, I don't want to be a walking billboard for the NBA, NFL, and keep slinging their merch. I'm not getting an affiliate code. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's-
I was doing the most repping these brands. Like, now, I know I got my Chicago on, but most of the time you're gonna catch me like in a Winlife hoodie. Like, what you rocking? You rocking Raw apparel, Raw on the wall, and that's your brand. That's your relationship.
yeah, that's the company's paying the bills. You know what I mean? You know,
Exactly.
you know, I look at it like that too. It's like, you know, I'm not trying to go into fashion per se, okay? But if I'm gonna wear something, might as well be my logo or the homie shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, period.
And I mean, you're an expressive dude. You're very vocal, creative. How can I put it? Like, you just express yourself in different means, like the way you talk, the way you present yourself. So even if you don't call it fashion, it's just like, it is fashion because it's what you rocking.
Yeah, you know,
I look at it like you got a whole swag, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it. You know, it's the '90s. You know what I'm saying?
You still rocking LeBrons?
It's still. You know what? I don't have any LeBrons right now, but still, to be honest, that is my favorite shoe, and it's
It's your favorite
because
shoe?
it's because somehow like his foot and my foot, like his wideness partner is like it was the perfect marriage.
It's perfect for you?
Oh man,
Nice.
the LeBrons are fire.
And that was before the Lakers, right?
Yeah, that was before the Lakers. I was rocking LeBrons. I was
Yeah.
rocking LeBrons before the Lakers.
Because people going to say, oh, you jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I wanted the South Beach ones when they first came out, but they were too expensive for my taste. But I got
We got
the
to get
black
you
and
some
red
Laker
one.
LeBrons.
You know, I would love some of the new ones that he been coming out with.
Someone
He
wants
been
to
with
send
some
them the Big
amazing ones.
Freezy.
Yeah, send me
What
size
size are
13.
you? Let them know.
Size 13. Let's get it.
And where can they find you at online?
At Big Freezy on Instagram. I'm there all the time. Nobody else is running my page just yet. But as I said, just yet, in a minute, I will not be running that motherfucker. I really do need to have time just to be creating and filming and not really focus on posting so often.
Are you doing all the editing yourself?
Yeah, I do everything
On
myself.
your-
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So for the TV show, I'm coming up with the recipes from the cookbooks. We haven't even talked about that just yet, but
Yeah, if you want to tell us about it.
you know, the cookbook.
So
is
it's
dope.
called the Cookbook?
The cookbook. Basically, the premise is that I'm taking recipes from different cookbooks and we're medicating them. The first season is currently streaming right now on Vyre Network, VYRE Network. And the first couple of episodes show you how to use, I believe I was using the magical butter machine in the first season. So it shows you how to, make you some medical butter or how to turn a little CBD tincture into some cooking oil. And then from there, we start cooking some recipes. And so same thing's going on this season, but we have some special guests. I got a special guest chef that came on for a few episodes. The homie from Dr. Kevorkian brand came out. Yeah, so it's really starting to get a little bit more intuitive, and it's a lot more fun this season. You know what I mean? We're in a couple of different kitchens this year, and yeah, I think people are gonna really love season 2 way more than season 1. But again, season 1 still is doing very well. And
Where do they
opened up the
watch it
door.
at? Is it an app or is it?
Yeah,
I'm not
Vyre-
familiar with Vyre.
Yeah, so Vyre is similar to Netflix. So you just download the app. I think it's on Xbox, PlayStation, Roku.
Okay.
It's on your iPhone. I believe it's on the Android as well. And yeah, Vyre Network. Go in there. You can either search the cookbook or you can go under, I think it's V Brands, then V Living, and then I think I'm still the first show right there under foods.
Right.
So-
I'm gonna watch that today while I'm chilling in the office.
yeah, the first
So I can
season
watch the whole
is
season.
real smooth. They're short episodes. The second season, they're a lot more intuitive, longer episodes.
Cause you leveled up from the first season.
Yeah,
right?
we
You
leveled up. We
basically
leveled up a
improved
little
on
bit.
it.
Yeah, we improved. Better kitchen, better spot, better lighting. We went plant-based for this whole season.
As far as the food, so there's no
There's
meat.
2 plant-based books. I don't eat meat myself personally, but yeah, there's no meat on any of these episodes. There's still like cheese and I think did I use eggs and something? Yeah, I think we use eggs. You know what I mean? But that's still considered plant-based because it's in the cookbook. So, so yeah, that's what we're doing. Then I'm coming up with the cookbook mini, and so these last couple of episodes of the cookbook will be sponsored by Raw Rolling Papers, which is going to be leading into the production of the cookbook mini. That'll be small shorts that'll be going on to Instagram and possibly YouTube maybe. I don't really do the YouTube thing because I just don't have the time myself, but I will be compiling all of the content for someone to come in and do that for me later.
So what is your relationship with Raw? I know you're a photographer, but I'm thinking more than that because I see you going to a lot of the shops and basically acting on behalf of Raw. If you kind of just speak to your position there, or what you kind of got going on over there. Like we all love Raw. That's what we twisting up.
Raw representative. You know what I mean? So I'm a official Raw ambassador for the Inland Empire and some of the surrounding areas that I go to as well. And that's been for the last few years or so. I started off as the photographer at events volunteering my time for about a year or so, and it was
That's where we
amazing.
met.
Yeah, 100%, and it was amazing. You know what I mean? And you know, next thing you know, I'm here. You know, and I get paid to be here, so and I enjoy every moment of it. You have to keep in mind, you know, there's first of all, there's not a lot of us that are ambassadors at Raw, right? So I think there's like across the U.S. maybe I think there's like 15 of us. You know what I mean? So it's a very small group. You know what I mean? And to be able to be in that type of company, you know, is definitely something that you could look positive to. You know what I mean? Period. And it's like everybody know who you are, especially when you go to these events. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. It's like being a rock star
Yeah,
without
I
having
think
to
it's
be a
so
rock
much
star.
integrity in that business, that company. I love it. Have you got to smoke with Josh?
Oh yeah. Oh, many occasion. I remember. Oh yeah, many occasion, man.
But we're talking about Josh Kesselman, CEO of Raw
CEO
Papers.
Raw Papers. Yeah, man. You know, every time I smoke with Josh, man, there's always a moment of you learned something. You learn something, and it's not always paper or rolling papers related. You know, it's not always about, you know, oh, I'm gonna show you how to roll this up. It's like, no, it's not. When you get a chance to actually sit back and chill with him, especially depending on, you know, the venue, if it's a little bit more personal or whatever, you know, you get a chance, man, you get a chance to learn something. You know what I mean? Something that you can apply to your own life. And yeah, I appreciate that part 100%.
He seems like a really great person.
High energy all the time. You know what I'm saying? I try my best to smoke sativas when I'm coming over. Period. Period. You know what I'm
Word.
saying? Because he ready. He ready to do some cool shit all the time. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing about
Definitely.
the brand. You know what I mean? It's like we're always doing something new. There's always something different, and it's for this community. You see what I mean? It's not just okay, we're just smoking. We are, but there's more to it. You see what I mean? You know, you have the smell proof bags and all these different things, but they look stylish. So I can go somewhere and everybody don't know that I'm blowing up the place. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's a lot of thought and little
Or
gadgets and shit. Maybe we having so much
yeah, I love
fun.
watching the Instagram and like how Josh is always giving a new tip on like something smoker related.
And
It
it comes
does
from
make it
all of us.
fun.
It's a collective effort. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, it's some of the more popular rollers that people know about, like a Dabro or a Rob Jet, Grasshopper, you know, and then sometimes it may be coming from somebody like Raw Life Row, you know, or Rodderman, you know what I'm saying? One of our other guys, you know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of this information,
Collaboration.
yeah, a lot of this information, man, it's just stuff that we all come across in passing with one another. And, you know, just like Josh says all the time, it's like there's no wrong way to roll up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but here's little tricks and stuff for you to be able to do it easier if you're having an issue or different types of tips and stuff. You know, it's just always something new. You know
Or
what I
just
mean?
to be creative, all
All the
the
time. All the time.
different
I mean,
different
look at these
joints they
guys that
make
have
or
a new revenue stream because they sell tips like these. Let me let you see this one.
okay, let them know what we're looking
So
at.
right now we're looking at a custom tip by Dabro. It's a marijuana leaf 3D. It kind of comes out of the tip a little bit. As you can see, it kind of protrudes out just a little bit. I mean, this thing is amazing, bro. And it's a stuffable. So you just take this out and then you just stuff it and light it up. And everything is rolled out. So you know you're using the best. Yeah. Dope.
I gotta try out some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
Oh yeah. Dabro be doing some cool stuff. And again, he got another one that I got. Watch this. I was going to smoke out of it for Halloween and I just couldn't do it. Look at it.
What is that, Jason?
That's a Jason Mask custom packable joint. Look at this tip, right? I mean, this
You just
the tip is about
yeah,
as
you should
big as a
just keep
quarter,
it
and then you can stuff about maybe 7 to 10 grams in that joint, bro.
kind of like a condom. Yo, you could,
You funny.
that's a collectible.
Yeah, oh yeah,
little guy.
100%. But you know, Dabro, he'll make whatever you want him to make. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He'll
That's
make
almost
whatever
an
you want
art
him to
piece,
make.
and yeah.
100%. I got another one upstairs, man, that holds like what you say it's supposed to hold? I think it's supposed to hold like 5 ounces or something like that. Big one.
Yeah, that's some Josh
Big
stuff
one.
right there.
Big one. Big
That's
one.
for.
You know?
Yeah, every time I see you, I gotta say, every time Freezy pulls up on me, come bearing gifts with a gift bag, a different everything. Like I got to try so much stuff. Like you gave me this, I used this. I saw yours on the wall. I used this plate.
Yeah.
Just showing like what you call these
The
tray.
rolling tray.
Yep. So yeah,
Yeah, I got
good
a
looks,
few.
man.
I got a few of them up on the wall. You know, I got some of the collector ones up here. You know how we do it, man.
But it's a dope way to just be so giving in ways. Like
Yeah,
it might just be
100%.
nothing to you because you have so much product, but like it's cool to me. I was able to give like a couple of my homies trays because what do I need with 5 trays you gave me, right? So, I'm able to gift them and just pass that along. So,
And hey, pass the love along, man. Bring somebody else over the raw. You heard me? You know, one of the homies, they be smoking spliffs, but they still roll it up in the raw. You know what I mean? So it's like, everybody got their own way of smoking. You know what I'm saying? But this natural shit,
but we can all agree that
You know what I'm saying? This
raw
natural
is
shit I'm fucking
like
with.
hemp.
Period. You know what I mean? Excuse my French.
Yeah, I mean, it don't have to be raw. Raw is just like the brand that is, you're gonna get what you need. But there
Yeah.
are other natural brands. But I think more importantly, I do think if you're gonna smoke, like cannabis is great, right? You can intake it with oils. You can even eat with it. But we can all agree that smoking does take a toll on our lungs. So if we're gonna smoke, we should smoke with the cleanest stuff. We shouldn't be. I grew up with like Swishers and any crap they had at the corner store, and like it. After a while, your lungs just hurt. You're gonna be coughing. You don't get sick. You don't get respiratory issues. So, and this is for people who really smoke. This is basically this can be life or death.
It can be. It very well can be. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna tell you the smooth raw papers. You know what I'm saying? Period. Point blank. I'm opening up my seed vault right now, actually. But yeah, man.
You said your seed vault?
seed vault. It's a
What's that?
it's a container to keep your medication in.
Oh,
They got the
yo, we
little-
might gotta do like something like a YouTube thing. I know you don't do YouTube like that, but I think we should do a YouTube.
The
one and
reason
just
why
talk
I don't
about-
do YouTube is because it's like I eventually will, but everybody wants to monetize YouTube, and it's like that's not what I'm here for. I'm already on the TV network. You know what I'm saying? So the money's already coming. You know what I'm saying?
I
don't
think
need
what
to
I like
monetize it.
YouTube for is one, everyone can have access to it. So
True.
people who can afford these different tiers, or maybe in their country they don't even have it.
Yeah.
And then 2, you can touch a new demographic because you're gonna find new people on YouTube that aren't from your circle. But you got to think like how much free content I want to put out there, So, but that's what I do like YouTube.
And
for.
that's why we're coming with the Cookbook Mini coming up, which is basically going to start off as mini versions of all the recipes that I've already done on all the seasons. And then from there, I'll start expanding to new recipes that may very well become full episodes for season 3, which will be filming next year.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, I did want to ask you about Big Freezy branding and your own products because you're like an ultimate marketer for other brands and like bringing awareness to all these other products. Like, but what about it? Do you like plan to do your own product or collab or like a Big Freezy dab rig or like anything like that?
So in the works right now, there's the Big Freezy Frost Edition Puffco attachment being made right now through a company called Cream City Vapes. In addition to that, we're working on the cookbook. Look forward to having some cooking utensils, some chef coats, a few chef hats, and kind of moving over to that side so that way, something that people can wear that's fly when they're at home in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, like I say on my show, man, I'm not a chef. I just play one on TV. You know what I'm saying? So, I want everybody to be able to have that kind of fun and enjoy it. You know what I mean? For the Big Freezy brand itself, I might start wearing a couple of shirts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna see a couple of little things coming pretty soon, but nothing in stone just yet. Nothing in stone just yet. We just coming with a couple of different vibes right now. You know what I mean?
Maybe we could do a Winlife clothing Big Freezy
Oh
collab
man,
at some point.
100%, 100%. Yeah, we just redid the logo. We just we got the logo set up right, so that way it's set up good for both screen print and embroidery. And yeah, and it's looking way more amazing, more dynamic now. So yeah, a lot of collabs. That's really what I want to do because I really don't want to sell shirts myself per se because I just don't have that market just yet. So I'd rather work with people that already have a market and I can just collab with them. You know what I'm saying? And work out the numbers on the back. Just simple.
Sounds like a plan.
Look, you got to work smarter and not harder, man. Period. And that's what I say about coming together. Somebody that got a brand, you may have a good idea, collab with them niggas. You ain't got to sit back and go out and try to be a whole t-shirt tour. You know what I'm saying? Just collab with a few people, get some shit out there and get you a few dollars up. You know what I'm saying? And you may just be that.
But sometimes you
collab
gotta go
guy.
Kobe and be like.
Well,
Sometimes you might gotta go Kobe and do the 81 points, depending on what it is.
Yeah, that's where those exclusive ideas get a chance to come out. You know what I mean? And that's when you get a chance to get those exclusive series, not with just yourself, but with some of these other companies as well. You dig? And that's why I said think about how much bigger you can be if you sat back and was like, you know what? I'm gonna hit up Peace Water and fucking do a collaboration Peace Water shirt or some stupid shit, dude. They already gonna want to sell it on their shirt, on their site. All you gotta do now is make sure you're wearing it. Smarter, not harder. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about the cannabis brands because that's the easiest way for me to think about it. That's the area that I'm in mostly, other than when I'm doing documentary stuff, which I do got some documentaries coming up too. We're gonna be talking about the different types of sage, different types of mantras and stuff to say while you're saging your home, office space, vehicles, etc. We also doing one where they talking about how they use the grabber leaf to roll a spliff from over in the islands. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be real in depth, cultural.
Who you doing that with?
Those are gonna be with the homie at Blessed Fire Culture Shop right here in Upland, California.
Okay.
And so so it's gonna be real cultural. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm moving into doing documentaries. Like after I finish up season 2 here within the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing a few documentaries.
I'm ready for Big Freezy rolling papers though.
Hey, it's only
Through Raw.
it's only happening through Raw. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
and there's a bit of an investment that's gonna have to be there, and a lot of time that needs to be happening to wait. You know what I mean? Because I can just go and get Big Freezy on the tips. You know what I'm saying? And pay a few dollars, I'm sure, and I can get that popping. But if I wanted to do my own, packaging and all that,
That's how I see it with you and Raw, like a blue pack, got your Freezy logo or something. Maybe your colors are a little different. I don't know, but I'll just buy yours just because you're the homie.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Hey, look, you already spoke it out into the universe, man. So, hey, look soon for the Big Freezy Raw collaboration. It's coming. It's coming. We're gonna make that happen.
All right, so we're gonna get up out of here. I have a couple more questions for you.
Go ahead.
And yeah, thanks a bunch. So if you could tell people what's something that people misinterpret or don't understand about you or get wrong about you that they should know.
I would say, main focus is understand, man, I'm an asset. You know what I mean? I'm not competition. Where I want to go and where you want to go are two different places. You know what I mean? But we can utilize each other to help make our destinations a little bit faster. You heard me? And I think that's the biggest thing. You feel me? I'm a big personality in the room. You know what I mean? And that just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I play well with others. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm an asset. I'm not competition. Let's just make sure that we all.
Your shine don't take away from their shine. Just because your light is bright, it's not going to dim their light.
Not
Actually
even
going to
a little
help
bit.
their light.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. So, last one. What does winning at life mean to you?
Winning at life. It should be a simple answer, and I would say it would be something along the lines of, like I said earlier, your vision of success is your vision. You know what I'm saying? So winning at life is bringing your vision to life. That's winning at life. It's bringing your vision to fruition. Period.
Bars. All right, we're going to end it right there.
Man,
Y'all might got to rewind this one.
Y'all gonna
got a lot
probably
of
rewind
gems
this
here.
one, man. Man, I appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you very much for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, much love. I know this could have went on forever, but we want to break up the content so they can consume it. But of course, we'll be back with more collabs.
You'll be a guest on mine coming up here pretty soon. Don't worry about it.
All right, say the word.
Let's get it done.
All right, peace out.